It is about time. The 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Jailbreak. I am not kidding you guys. For the last 2 years, I've been trying to get my hands on one of these to drive freely on this channel, and well, today's the day. See, this car has something that no other car in the car industry has. You would think if you've driven a C7 Z06 or a Shelby GT500, driving a Hellcat probably isn't that exciting. But the features this thing has is something that no other car can replicate. In fact, in some ways, this is a cooler car than any Lamborghini, any Ferrari, and any McLaren. If that sounds bizarre, you'll understand in a second. Now, in this video, we're obviously going to be checking out the interior, going for a drive, but first I want to start with how this car looks. And as you can see, I mean, it is a menacing car, especially the Hellcat version of the Challenger. But the Challenger overall is a pretty cool muscle car because it maintains its heritage. This is one of the only cars that you can see from Mustang and Corvette and Camaro. They just don't look like how they did back in the day. But the Challenger still has that taste from its original design back in the 1900s. And also with the design of this car, because this is a jailbreak, think of the term jailbreak as like, you know how you used to jailbreak your phone to unlock some features? That's the same thing with this car. At first I thought jailbreak, oh, it just fits in with the name like Hellcat and all that. But no, it's actually a meaningful name because if you get the jailbreak, you can customize multiple things about the car like badging, colors, different specs on the car that you wouldn't be able to on a base Hellcat. Plus you get an extra 10 horsepower. Now, because this is a Hellcat, obviously you have that absolutely menacing and beautiful SRT badge right there. And also, this is opened up. The other one on the other side is actually not. I don't know why. You could just remove the cover on it to allow more airflow, but this is opened up to allow more airflow into the engine. Additionally, on the bottom, of course, like almost every Challenger and Charger owner does, this yellow lip protector has been kept on, but I'm glad it does because as you'll see in a second, it actually matches the color of the brake calipers, which I think is a really nice touch. And moving up to the hood here, this is a full satin black hood with 2 more vents to allow even more airflow into the engine. Trust me when I say this can't get enough airflow. It needs all of it. Now, on the side of your Hellcat, first and foremost, you can immediately tell this is a wide body because you have these extra massive flares on the side, giving it a, well, wider body style look. I think when you start to get used to this body design, it's hard to go back to the narrow bodies and think that they look as good as maybe you thought they used to before you knew this existed. Now, this does actually have a practical use to it because you get wider tires, which allows for more grip and better cornering. And also in the front here, as you can see, absolutely massive Brembo brakes. Guys, despite this being as heavy of a car as it is, 4,400 pounds, I was extremely impressed with the braking power of this car. And don't worry, we'll get on it in the driving portion of this video. On top of that, these beautiful customized bronze wheels with the infamous Hellcat badge. Moving along towards the back end of the Dodge Hellcat Challenger Jailbreak, that is a mouthful. Of course you're gonna have, because this is a wide body, wider fenders back here as well. And seriously guys, these look so much better than a narrow body. No disrespect to you narrow body owners, but seriously, this adds a nice touch. And that gives this 315s back here for the tire width. So I don't want to spoil anything yet, but let's just say these need to be wider. Also, you're going to have a bit smaller brakes in the back, but that's fine because those front ones are massive. And one of my favorite things about the Challenger, for some reason, is this fuel door right here. It just gives that old school muscle vibe that I think suits this car so well. Now, on the back end of the Jailbreak, this is a bit of a simpler design. Not a whole lot of differences from like a V6 Dodge Challenger. Obviously, you have those infamous taillights, but what you want to look for is this SRT badge right on this nicely sized spoiler in the back. And let's not forget to mention dual tip exhausts that sound absolutely insane. But by the end of this video, tell me what sounds better, the exhaust note or the supercharger whine. Because underneath this hood is the infamous 6.2 liter supercharged V8. This engine, first of all, has an absolutely beautiful presentation under this hood, is extremely reliable, and I know that for a fact not only from owner reports, but these are some of the most abused cars in the entire car industry. Yet if you go online and try to find high mileage examples of any Hellcat, whether it's a Trackhawk TRX, CTS-V, Challenger, Charger, you will find plenty of very high mileage Hellcats. Now, what's very special about this setup that's worth noting is that this was one of the first muscle cars to ever break 700 horsepower. This thing set the standard for what horsepower numbers are today. Now you have the Dodge Demon making 1,025 horsepower, but if it wasn't for this, the race for horsepower, I believe, would not have been as intense as it is today. And speaking of horsepower, because this is the Jailbreak, it has slightly different tuning, giving it an extra 10 horsepower. This thing makes 717 horsepower and 656 pound-feet of torque. Guys, this car does weigh 4,400 pounds, but you throw 700 horsepower in anything, it's gonna move. With that being said, let's experience what 717 horsepower feels like to drive. How does this thing feel? Well, guys, if you're not used to driving like trucks or big cars, let me tell you, you're gonna feel very uncomfortable once you get moving in this thing. It's a little deceptive. This car, it's hard to understand the dimensions of this car. It looks so big and so wide and so long in the front end, and it is pretty long in the front end, but it's actually not that wide. It just looks super wide. So it's a little bit scary at first, but once you spend like 30, 40 minutes with this car, you're going to get used to the dimensions and not be freaking out. Like when I first got in this, I thought I was almost already going off the road, but we're not even close. So yes, it's a huge, huge feeling car. And it is 4,400 pounds, guys. Big steering wheel, big dash, big hood. You know, I drive a Lexus ES350, which is already a pretty big four-door heavy car, another Challenger. Yet hopping in this thing feels like a tank, guys. Yeah, that's the best way I can describe the feeling of sitting in a Challenger is you feel like you're in a tank. Even just taking that turn at a semi faster than average speed, you feel like you're moving some weight for sure. Don't worry, we will hit the red line. Just want to start this off a little bit more tame because, guys, when you first get driving in your Dodge Challenger Hellcat, if you are not very careful with introducing the power into yourself, if you will, because you feel the horses, you will crash. You will absolutely crash. I feel more intimidated driving the Hellcat than I did in the C7 Z06, the C8 Z06. More intimidating. This is more intimidating than even like the Lamborghini Aventador SV that I drove. More power, about just as heavy, but something about the rawness of this car gives you a feeling, a scared feeling that no other car does. Yeah, look at that. There is so much power at your disposal from just a simple tap of the throttle that I just meant to lightly accelerate there, and the tires spun. With 315 width tires in the back. Guys, this is the most insane car I have ever drove. I like this a lot because it gives me more of a scared feeling than like a Lamborghini Huracan did. Cars like that are so refined that it kind of drives for you. Like, you just smash the gas, it'll take care of you. This car, you have to take care of yourself, literally, because your safety is at risk when you're behind the wheel of this thing. Let's floor it in first gear here. Yeah, in 500 horsepower mode. And even in 500 horsepower mode, it can barely handle that. This is easily the first car where I genuinely, I am not going to turn traction control off. The traction is staying on. Turn it off if you want to do donuts, if you want to do a burnout. Like, by all means, I'm going to respect this car because this is not mine, so I would never do that to someone else's car. But if you own yours and don't really care about it, I mean, if you get a secondhand Hellcat, chances are the previous owner did a lot of that, so it doesn't really matter. Then yeah, this is the ultimate car to break loose. I was gonna say when you want it to, but it does it even when you don't want it to, as you saw when we just tried to do a normal pull away from a red light, or green light rather. All right, let's go ahead and merge over here. We got nice visibility in here, which I like a lot. Let's tap that 717 and let's experience the rest of this drive in 717 horsepower. 500 is already insane, guys, seriously. We are losing traction at 70 miles an hour. Only a Hellcat, guys. Only a Hellcat. And this thing will jump 20 miles an hour like that. You tap the throttle, the tires are just going. They are, oh my gosh, guys. Yes, this is an insanely fast car, as you would expect. But what gives it such a unique feeling is I've driven faster. Like, I've driven cars where I see the speedometer climb faster than this. But this is the fastest like, feeling car I've ever driven. Primarily because it is so raw and so scary. This is the first car I've been in with high power where I am very uncomfortable with just smashing the gas. I gotta ease onto it and make sure that I'm not gonna be going in like, you know, a wall or something. And while we're at this red light here, I do want to talk a little bit more about this interior. First of all, because this is the a more modern Hellcat, it's the Jailbreak, very, very nice Alcantara with a flat bottom steering wheel. Guys, this is one of the top 5, I would say top 5 feeling steering wheels I've ever felt. I'm a big fan of the weight that the steering has to it. Big fan of obviously holding onto this Alcantara. Big fan of the flat bottom design. Even this feels really good. I love turning the steering wheel and just like grabbing this material down here. That probably sounds weird, but seriously, that was the steering was the last thing I was expecting to compliment in a Hellcat. But it is actually really, really nice. Also, obviously, full leather seats, and just look how big these are, guys. If you are a big person, you're going to be comfortable inside of this car. It's got Hellcat stitched into the seat as well, which is really, really nice. I love the red as well, sort of a more burgundy color, even though the red on the exterior is obviously bright red. It's a nice interior. It's still Dodge, right? So a lot of like arguably low quality stuff. But that's why this car, you can find 2015s at like $40,000. If you want to get a nice one like this, low mileage, Jailbreak, 2023, well taken care of, yes, it's going to be like between 70 to 80,000. But that could be worth it. The only problem is, I'm opening up a can of worms saying this, but guys, C7 Corvette Z06, Shelby GT500, are you really picking a Hellcat over those cars? Please comment below. If any of you are picking a Hellcat over a C7 Z06 and or a GT500, comment your reasoning below. I'm looking to accumulate reasons on why to do that. Turning radius here. Oh, that seemed pretty good. It's not the best though. Wow, wow, wow. Hey guys, even accelerating this thing, I feel like I am accelerating a tank. It's weird. It is the combination of the steering feeling like it belongs in like a Shelby GT350 with the weight, the Alcantara, the feel to it. And with this thing being 4,400 pounds, but yet so much power, it's like all these different elements taken from different styles or niches of cars, just stuffed into an under-engineered box that makes more power than it should. I don't mean to insult this car by saying under-engineered. That's what makes the Hellcat a Hellcat. It's retained its old school muscle, but with modern tech. This car is very fun if you like something raw, you like something playful, and you want to be genuinely scared while driving. If that's you, the Hellcat is for you. Let's just do an acceleration from like 35 miles an hour. Ready? Oh my gosh. You just can't get used to that. Now, cost of ownership wise, yeah, tires, you're gonna burn through those a lot. Brakes, if you like to have fun, well, those are big fat Brembo brakes, not gonna be cheap to replace. Other than that though, I mean, oil changes are gonna likely be slightly more expensive. It is a Hellcat. Probably, I assume it takes more oil. I don't know for sure though. You would think it does. Everything's just going to be more expensive on this car. So not a cheap car to own. Insurance will be very high. These are the most stolen cars out of any other cars. So these are a lot of things you have to think about. And again, that does give more reasons to buy like a C7 Z06 or a Shelby over this. But the C7 and the Shelby, they do not even come close to creating the level of fear and rawness that a Hellcat does. And with that being said, guys, that's a wrap. I really hope this gave you a good perspective of the Hellcat. Let me know your thoughts. And again, I want to start a war in the comments. Please say, are you choosing a C7 Z06, a GT500, or a Hellcat? That is the ultimate question. Those are three of the most, I think, iconic cars. Best value for what you get. So yeah, guys, appreciate you. Love y'all. I'll make plenty more videos on this car. Likely, if I haven't already uploaded them, I will. But I'll see you very, very soon in the next video. Peace out.